if you could take back just one storyline, what would it be and why? This premise essentially saying change a plot point or change an entire story and figure out how it kind of unfolds. You know, what would you do? One thing I can immediately imagine people say is honestly take out the Janine stuff or take out Linda cheating on Mick. So when they actually do get separated, it's more agonizing. Because imagine if they never split up. Imagine if they never split up and he still dies. Like, even that'd be fucking heartbreaking. But because they fucking made the relationship shit over the last year, like, I don't fucking know, man. But in terms of it, I mean, the writers obviously want to take back Dirty Den's death, of course. Like, take back one storyline.
I personally, I would like to see an EastEnders world where, oh fuck, what was I trying to think of? Where Bradley doesn't die. Another one would be Heather, because Heather was a generational talent.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's not more Heather stands like Fat Boy stands. Like I don't know what Heather didn't do that Fat Boy did.
I'd love to see Tina not be killed off and Kush not being killed off, and had the fucking abuser storyline just being about abuse and not fucking murder. Because
yeah, would rather Grey not have become a serial killer rather than just a domestic abuser. Well, the one thing that was always interesting is they didn't know what they were gonna do with Grey initially. Because there was one scene where we started to talk about Grey's dad at, like, counselling. You know, Chantal's like, look, let's go to counselling, you know, we'll talk about the issues. And you see Grey open up about, you know, the treatment of his dad has shaped how he views everything. So, like, everything good was always, like, belittled. And this was why he was a fuck-up, but he wanted to be better. And it could have just been some fucking, like, oh, yeah, no, I'll be better, you know, just gaslighting, really. But it did feel like for a hot minute they were gonna actually address some of these issues. But the next time they brought in his dad, they made him like he was dying, and Grey's like, "Ah, oh, fuck you," you know. Like they could have gone a completely different angle with it, but they made him a serial killer for some reason. That's my immediate one that I'd take away personally. In terms of one in the history, Alfie Moon 2018.
That's a classic of the channel. We have to keep that.
Alfie Moon 2018, please. Let's just forget he did that. We have done that now, of course, but like just the sheer assassination of the character.
It's just it's when you give him power, you can do what you want to a character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Albeit there is some limitations, like there will be characters who are higher up in the totem where they will have say in what you can do or not do to them. Like Grant, for example, being told you're going to rape this woman on Christmas Day. In storyline, before anyone thinks Ross Kemp was going to rape a woman, he wasn't. In storyline, and he basically went, no, fuck off, mate.
I'm not fucking doing that. And if you do that, I'm leaving.
Yeah, so like there is limitations, but if you're someone like Alfie Moon who's kind of iconic but not iconic, you can't be like, I'm not doing that, fuck off.
Yeah.
It's a paycheck at the end of the day. I bet if he was told, look, you're gonna rape Hayley, he'd be like, whoa, make me out to be the bad guy, but I'm not fucking doing rape. Calm down, lads.
Yeah.
I'd assume that's what Shane Ritchie, is that his name?
Yes.
I'd assume Shane would like have some input on what happens to Alfie, but he'd also like if they're going.
At that time, he was talking about how he was losing money. Like he was talking. Yeah, so he needed the money.
He Terry Funked it. I needed the money. I love your Terry Funk impression.
But yeah, what else would I take away in terms of storyline? Abby Branning being dead. That's a storyline I'd take away. I mean, I fucking talked to death about why I preferred Abby Branning to Lauren. I don't need to talk about it more. But just briefly, the more interesting Branning, much more scheming, manipulative, definitely the product of Max and Tanya's fucking awful marriage.
What? One that will tickle your fancy or your balls. Is Dot actually getting a fucking storyline about dying?
Yeah,
Instead of going,
yeah.
Dot, you don't, June Brown, you don't like the storylines we're giving you. Fuck off, you old hag. I was going to call her the C word, but I was like, I don't know if Ash will allow me to do it. Just, you fuck off, you out.
Yeah, it's just like, actually let Dot die on screen, because it's still such a wasted moment. Like, that could have been one of the biggest soap deaths of all time. Because no characters fucking stayed that long. She was there since 85, for fuck's sake. And yet you couldn't have her die on screen. But now you just have a funeral where everybody's sad, and it's like, yeah, but like, that's why the funeral is fucked for me, because you could have had her die on screen. Like, you're like, Dot just went, or June Brown went, look, I get that it'll be hard to fucking give me scripts, but I've worked here for 30 fucking years. You know? I've been here since 85. You know, it's just like, somehow you can't tailor scripts to her. Like, figure out a way, of course.
Of course, like, I'm not saying like it would be easy, but if Barbara Windsor, who was I believe she was in early stages of dementia, filming her death.
Don't fully know, but yeah, she
was. But I'm gonna take the assumption she might have been, and if she wasn't, I'm sorry. But even her, she could do it. Like, even if she did have early
there were a lot of difficulties, because June couldn't fucking see, she couldn't hear, like. But getting the scripts would have been hard at the best of times. But fucking, like, you adapt. You adapt to it, because fucking she can't. She'll try, but like she can't fucking. I don't know, man. Just be like, all right, Dot. Here are the plot points. You know. Here's your lines, but. Then there's not too many, but we're going to play out this big, long story. You're only going to have so much to act, so, like, you will still get to do a lot of good stuff, but we aren't going to make you, like, have, like, a fucking massive, like, pages of fucking dialogue, you know? Like, I don't know, just in a world where you can't adapt to one of your most long-standing workers, who's given you the entire, like the final third of their life, and you can't adapt to their needs. Like, it's just a failure on their part. That's why I don't like Dot's exit, because it was just so wasted.
I'm a guy. It's wasted potential, but I still don't mind Dot's exit. Even if it's like, it's not.
I haven't. To be fair, it doesn't happen. I also watched it at a time where I wasn't particularly keen, because the show is in a dodgy place, anyways.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, it is heartwarming, but at the same time, you're like, yeah, this could have been, like, basically how I view it, I would just imagine it like Peggy's death, but much sadder. Because Peggy is iconic, let's not get that wrong, she is iconic. But, I was nearly going to say Barbara Windsor, and June Brown, like, you kill her off at all, her in her deathbed, and all her friends surrounding her.
Yeah, exactly. All of the people she's helped over the years as well. Like, bring in fucking. I don't know if she helped Lofty, for example, but help Mary, help Stuart, help. I'd even bring back Fat Boy if she was dying. Fuck it, because that would have fit. That would have fit the character. I know it's a dumb argument point, but if she would die on screen, I'd bring him back. Fuck it, like. I'd even have the ghost of fucking Nasty Nick appearing somehow, because it's just that fucking important a character to the show. And like, it's just a criminal shame, honestly. It's a big stickling point, and I'm not getting over it, because like, she's dead. You didn't give her, like, she's worked so hard and helped you transform so many characters and been such a big part of the show. And you can even tailor some fucking scripts to her. Like, she was back. She's like, oh, I've got Dottie. And she was like, oh, this isn't the actual Dottie. I don't know about the recast, lads. Shut up. Okay. Cheers. But yeah, it's just a criminal shame, honestly.
Well, another one I would take back is Ronnie and Roxy, of course, being killed off. As much as I don't like them, well, I feel like there is already comments 5 minutes in or 10 minutes in the video going, Roxy, Ronnie, Roxy, Ronnie, Roxy.
Yeah.
They're fucking yelling at her.
It's honestly, I would just take away. I would strip out like half the deaths they did in the 2010s. Like, just most of them. I'd just let them leave. Derek Branning not dead. Michael Moon not dead. Abby not dead. Probably Paul, Ben's first love, not dead. Who the fuck else died in the 2010s who shouldn't have?
Ronnie and Roxy.
Ronnie and Roxy not dead, just left. Like, it was the time where it's like, oh Pat not dead, you know, like fucking, because Pat probably could have still been here now. She's still alive. She's still having a good time. I don't know if she is, like, but she could be. Oh, hello. Like, there was so many characters that were killed off, and yeah, sure, they did pave the way for like a good time in the show, but like the momentum didn't necessarily carry it. And now just a lot of the families they obviously set up years ago, now they're just thin on the ground, and you have to create new characters to try and forge like this new legacy for them. But like, the show's not been that good at establishing legacies with characters anymore, you know? Some characters are just there to be there and they don't do anything. There are characters like Whitney who are there just to be fucking tragic. Like, they've not been good at establishing these characters to have genuine... Like, Sam Mitchell is one of the biggest examples. Sam Mitchell's character has not progressed since she had Ricky. Like, the character's not progressed since then because they've never invested the time in building her future. Whitney now is having a kid, but like, fucking before now, just nothing. She's not developed at all. She's just continued to exist. And by killing off all these characters that have this status and have this genuine legacy and history behind them, it's a lot harder to get people to give a shit about these new characters because they're not as good as the old ones. In some people's eyes, not mine personally, but you know, like,
I agree. I don't even know if we're going to get to the Reddit, but I think this is just a stickling point of why we should kill off all these characters, because like it's sad when you look at it, because you could have had, all right, basically, again, the only way I know how to say it would be a reference. I only asked for okay. It's basically how I view it. Like, next is at SummerSlam 2010, where it's like, oh, we've this up and coming team.
Oh, they're gonna take over. They're gonna take over. They lost. Oh.
It's basically how I describe it. It's like fucking Nexus were supposed to win at SummerSlam 2010, and then they went, nah, you're losing. It's how I picture it. It's just like, oh, am I leaving? Dead. Oh, am I leaving? Dead. Oh, maybe me. I can leave. No, you're fucking dead. Oh, maybe me? No. You're especially dead. I fucking hate your guts. And then Alfie's like, oh, am I coming back? Yeah, you're gonna be an asshole. They're all dying. Oh yeah, I'm the asshole. What the fuck?
Yeah. It's just and you know, it's very easy to take the piss and fucking dude, the fuck I just read. Regardless. Point being, obviously we can sit here and look back at some of these storylines like, yeah, sure, they should have been different, but ultimately, like, the show is just working what they got at the time. Like, you can't always have this like fucking grand big picture where you slot in the pieces. Like, it's just fundamentally the show's going to go in peaks and troughs, and at some of these times you're going to have to make a big decision. and sometimes cast members want to leave, and sometimes the idea is to strike whilst the iron's hot. You know, fuck it. He doesn't really want to seem like he's going to come back. May as well have him die. You know, be another part in this other character's story. And it's where better writers and better producers definitely kind of realize and be like, man, we should have fucking really just, oh, Jesus Christ, why is this person dead, you know? But it's just but it is an interesting thought process, and I think we have generally, between us mostly, we've generally narrowed down a lot of the very key biggest mistakes that we believe the show did. And I think I'm pretty content with our output of it. So yeah, there we are. If you could take back one storyline, or alternatively, what is EastEnders' biggest mistake? I don't know, something like that. Figure out some framing, make it sexy for the algorithm. Regardless, thank you for watching. We've been watching Walford. I've been Ash, and I've been joined by Piggy.
Yeah, we have a Discord where you can yell at us saying,
Bring back Roxy! Bring back Ronnie! Bring it back! Bring it back!
sorry upstairs. You can yell at us saying that. We also have a Patreon where you can pledge to us monthly, where you can get monthly Q&As and all sort of that jazz. There's different tiers, and of course different tiers means different money and different projects. And we also have a Kofi, or as Ash likes to say, a coffee. And you can support our cafe by pledging one-time donation. And we have a wrestling channel, One More Match 182, where you can hear our dust tones and us saying, and it won't be muted. It will actually be there. So yeah, see you, mate. Join us next time. Goodbye and good night. Bang.